All right, now to the NFL, where we have a big name headed to a new team. After 10 seasons in Houston, J.J. Watt is joining the Arizona Cardinals on a 2-year contract worth just over $30 million. Watt referenced multiple factors that led to his decision, including the potential of quarterback Kyler Murray. It likely means the expectations for the Cardinals will be significantly higher than they have been in recent years. All right, Drink, what's your outlook for the Cardinals in 2021, and how much impact will J.J. Watt have on their season?
Well, the first half of the question is, like you said, hey, those expectations about to be sky high. So, Kingsbury over there, Cliffy, you out of here, Cliffy. You're probably gonna get fired this year. Here's the deal, because I mean, it's not your fault that you actually got management that's doing their job. It's not your fault. But listen, they ain't bringing these guys in here for you to miss the playoffs. Start the season hot and end the season going 500. That's not why they're bringing people in here. Like, I'm telling you right now, the blame is going to ultimately come down to you and Kyler Murray. And guess who's probably not going to leave? Kyler Murray. That's just my guess. I could be wrong, but I guess he'll be the one that survives that. So, with that said, like you said, it's a lot of expectation for this team. J.J. Watt coming in here. Listen, you hit an amazing stat, so I ain't gonna steal your thunder. But yeah, he's probably gonna get fired. Now, to the other part of the question, the impact that J.J. Watt will have. Listen, we know what J.J. Watt can do, and we ain't gonna be disrespectful. This ain't a Jadavius Clowney signing where the dude ain't been around for 3 years. Like, no, this J.J. Watt. If he stay healthy, he will impact this defense. And listen, folks, for those of you that have not watched the Arizona Cardinals, which I would be very surprised if you didn't get a glimpse of Kyler Murray at least once. This defense look like, when you look at it on paper, when you put the pieces together, these dudes look like they're going to be the real deal. I mean, every name I name is not a no-name. J.J. Watt, we know who he is. I forgot his first name, but Chandler Jones, we know who he is. Isaiah Simmons, we seen what he did. We yet to see him pop in the NFL, but we know he was a hell of a player in college. Patrick Peterson spent years and years being a shutdown corner. And then you got Budda Baker, arguably, the best safety in football this year. So you put all those names together on paper, you're like, yo, what are we doing here? Let's go. Let's get this ball back to Kyler Murray. Let him throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. Let's get these dubs. But if that does not happen, what are we doing? And listen, I'm not mad at J.J. Watt. I like the fact that a pass rusher actually looked at the quarterback and said, if I was a pass rusher, I wouldn't want to tackle him. That guy's electric. I like that. Let me go play on the other side of him, because that's how electric he is. I like that. That's J.J. Watt being honest. Because a lot of pass rushers ain't going to tell you that. Why? Because they either A, don't want to ruffle the feathers of the other quarterbacks in the league, or B, they don't want that quarterback to, know that they, respect them or admire them or whatever. So, the NFL is such a macho sport. You got to, take your ego and, sometimes shell it so it don't bite you in the butt. So I expect J.J. Watt, man, listen, I let you do the stats. They getting a hell of a game changer, man of the year. Man, listen, all I can say is this. If the Cardinals don't make the playoffs this year, I don't want to hear nothing about, hey, they play in the toughest division in the NFL. I don't give a rip about none of that. You got to figure it out. You have to figure it out. Listen, each conference got an extra playoff spot, right? You need to be hanging on to that extra playoff spot. That's just the bottom line. Because if you don't, some heads are going to roll this year. I like it a lot. Definitely a massive pickup. This is the second year in a row that Arizona has done something in the offseason. And this is what I mean. How many times do we get on this show, we talk about how inept management is for most of these teams? Well, you got Arizona. I mean, once Arizona got done hitting the screw job on Josh Rosen, they've been pretty solid since then. They gave him and Steve Wilkes the screw job, but they got them two out of there. Yeah. They got them two out of there. Now they seem to be like a little more reputable, a little more understandable. A little more like, oh, okay, I mess with that Arizona management. So they doing their job. Cliff Barry's gonna have to do his job. And we'll see how this works out. But I love the move. It seemed to be solid, and we'll see when the season kick off.
You think they make the playoffs this year?
That's the hard part. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes
Is that
because I
the
have
is
to
that the
believe.
is that the bar?
Yes, most definitely. You got. I'm telling you, if you don't make the playoffs, that coaching staff is out of here. Stick a fork in them. They're out of here. Because what if you don't make the playoffs this year? What is the reason that you made these moves?
Yeah,
Why?
I
Why?
agree with
Why?
that. I
You
agree
know
with
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's I think it's tough right now, and you'd have to as of right now. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I don't think they make it,
Okay.
but that free agency. This is just kind of I don't even know why we get to do this signing right now because free agency ain't even started. So, but I'm glad we do have it because it give us something to chew on.
Right.
But free
Appreciate that,
agency,
JJ.
free agency, the draft, and then we'll see how it looks. It's Arizona. I will say I do think this is the year. This is the logical step because last year rookie coach, rookie quarterback, so you're not going to have all that much expectations for him. Then
But
this year
but
was
they both was in a second year. They both was in a second year.
this year was 2020 was their second year, right? I think
Yes,
it was.
2020. So yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, that's okay.
So
So 2020, 8-8, 6-2 start. I think they maybe caught some people by surprise, but I felt like they were a little early, and as it turns out, they were early. So I do think this
right.
is the year. This would seem the logical step. Third year for the quarterback, um, third year for the head coach, and I do agree. I do agree. And Cliffbury, I like that. Cliffbury, look no
Oh, Cliff
further
Bear.
than your boy Lloyd Pierce, who we just talked about. Your third year and you're coming around playing around, you might be out of here. So, be paying attention. So, but because it's true, because you mentioned it. Steve Keim over here has done a pretty good job, since he got 2018 out the way, which is a train wreck. But then he, flopped in the number one pick because number 10 wasn't good enough. Josh Rosen wasn't good enough.
Yep.
You get you a Kyler Murray, you get you the head coach who you think you can pair with him. And now, since then, they didn't rob the Houston Texans of their best two players in franchise history.
Right.
That's what's happened.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna come to a point now, Steve Keim's gonna be up in the press box looking like, why are we losing? Like what? This ain't adding up. How many more? I can't be robbing every team of their best players. There's only so many Bill O'Briens, and there's only so
Right.
many Bob McNairs or whatever McNair's running the team now. They
Now,
don't exist. They don't exist everywhere.
he gonna be like, hey, Cliff Bears, you do know we in Arizona. People ain't just flocking to come to Arizona. So I'm gonna need you to make something happen.
But I do think your point to J.J. Watt in the decision, I did think it was interesting what he had to say about Kyler Murray. And you mentioned, I think Cleveland was another team that you had who
Right.
had a lot of interest in getting him. And
Offer
if
him more money too.
yeah, and if the quarterback position was a factor, it kind of makes sense. You talk about the trajectory of quarterbacks. If you just look at those two teams, I'd probably go play on a Kyler Murray team before Baker Mayfield. That's just me. No disrespect,
Right.
but I can get behind that. But I think he'll have an impact. He'll have an impact on their season, even though it's the days of him winning Defensive Player of the Years, which he's got three of them. Only two other guys have done that: Aaron Donald and Lawrence Taylor. Those days are probably over. 31, 32 years of age or whatever it is. So this is a win now move, I think, by J.J. Watt. Also, you got the familiarity of DeAndre Hopkins. He probably has some good things to say. Probably DeAndre Hopkins probably enjoyed the experience over there a little bit better than Houston, minus Deshaun Watson. But I think he'll have an impact. The numbers may not turn out to be all that great, but it's going to put offensive coordinators in a bind because you're going to have to make a choice. I don't think you can double both J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones. So somebody's going to get some one-on. So somebody's going to be left one-on-one. And I think a big part of the Cardinals' success is whether it's J.J. Watt or Chandler Jones that gets the one-on-one matchup, if they can dominate that matchup, then they're going to have a good chance to be successful. And not only Cliff Kingsbury will be he be under pressure. Vance Joseph, your defensive coordinator, is going to be under pressure, which I think you read them off. There's too many big names on this defense to not. I think this has to be a top 10 unit this season. J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Patrick Peterson, Drake Kirkpatrick, also Isaiah Simmons, Buda Baker. The highest paid safety out there, I believe. I think in the end, regardless, now the division I think is going to be tough, and it's every team in the division will be in play because I think San Francisco, they get healthy, they could be right back in the thick of things. Remember, don't forget, wasn't too long ago they was in the Super Bowl battling Kansas City, so
Right.
it's gonna be tough. But I do think in the end, this may be the year. This may be a make or break year for Cliff Kingsbury because absolutely right. Kyler Murray won't be the one to go. It will be Cliff. So 10 wins, might need a playoff spot this year to keep your job down there, just as old Lloyd.